Street Fighter III Third Strike is one of the contenders for the best fighting game of all time, and with good reason. But did you know there are 2 other versions of Street Fighter III? I mean, you probably did, but I just needed to segue into this next part. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the first Street Fighter III, New Generation. It was released in 1997 with the only returning characters being Ryu and Ken, with the other 9 characters being all new to the series, almost like it's a new generation. Okay, but why am I telling you about this? Well, a long time ago, I used to watch this channel called Screw Attack, now called Death Battle, and they uploaded a bunch of top 10 videos about different parts of gaming, and one of them was about the top 10 most broken characters in fighting games. Narrated by the host Nervous Nick, he goes through several of the most broken characters ever to be released. And one of these characters is from New Generation, and was said to have a one-button infinite. And the character he was talking about is Ibuki. Ibuki is a ninja schoolgirl with one of my favorite appearances in the franchise, but I'm not here to talk about her story. Alright, let's just launch up Street Fighter Anniversary and open up the training mode. Oh yeah, forgot that developers only made 4 games available in training mode. Okay, let me just go to versus mode, connect my other controller, and pick my character every time I need to restart. 0 out of 10 game. Okay, get ready because I'm going to show you how to do it. There are 2 criteria that need to be met in order to do this. First is to set up the juggle. You can start it by intercepting a jump in by your opponent, landing a crouch heavy kick close to them, or even better, landing your third super art.
Hashin Show.
It also just works if you get them in the corner. The second criteria is the actual move. The one move that makes this infinite possible is her standing heavy kick. However, there are 2 versions of this move depending on how far you are from your opponent. The one we want is her 2-hit straight kick into the air. This launches the opponent in the air, allowing us to connect with another heavy kick and continue the infinite. The version we don't want is the one where she does a spin. If this comes out, you'll whiff and you'll have to start over. Alright, here's what the infinite looks like.
Win. Perfect.
Okay, so here are some tips on how to do this more consistently. I'm doing this on a controller with a D-pad, and the easiest way to pull this off is to land the first heavy kick, then when it's finished, tap the D-pad for a split second, then input another heavy kick and repeat. Make sure not to input a heavy kick while you're pressing the direction, as it will input the hopping kick instead and ruin your combo. If your timing is off by just a bit, you'll see that your kick only hits once instead of twice, and if that happens, you won't have enough time to continue the infinite. Soon, with enough practice, you'll get the timing down and be able to pretty much KO your opponent from whatever health they had left. The best part about this is that during this entire combo, you're gaining meter and your opponent is getting stunned. So if you do end up missing, you can follow up with a super and finish it from there. A fun piece of Scoop lore is that I had this video planned back in September of 2021, but I just never came around to it. Here's a recording of me pulling it off back then, and you can tell it's old because this is when I thought stretching the aspect ratio was a good idea. Anyways, there really isn't a competitive scene for this game since Third Strike is just a better version, but from a random GameFAQs post by Sonic GTX, Ibuki is ranked in S tier and, quote, might be God tier status. Now, as you may have guessed in the next game, Street Fighter III Second Impact, this infinite was patched as you can only land it a max of 2 times before it's a guaranteed fail. They also changed her dash from being able to move your opponent to making you teleport behind them, so it's harder to get them into corner than before. And of course, this also applies to Third Strike, so you have to find other ways to make her work there. I know it's a really obscure piece of Street Fighter trivia, but it's one of my personal favorite things to pull off. New Generation isn't that well documented or played because Third Strike, which is a shame because there's a ton of details that started in New Generation that were carried on to later games in the series. But even if it's not talked about that much, I can still appreciate it for giving me some of my favorite Street Fighter characters, like Ibuki. And I think the best way for me to end this off is a quote from Nervous Nick.
If ever a case could be made for thick thighs taking lives, this would be it.
That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and take care.